Welcome and thanks for watching. Today I'm going to take a look at another smart light switch, and it's the Elgato Eve light switch with HomeKit. And I'm going to pair that with a door and window sensor that I looked at in a previous video, and we're going to take those two things and pair them to create a simple automation that just might make your life a little easier. So we have this pantry in the kitchen, and it's always dark at night, even in the daytime with all the windows open and the lights on. It's dark in there, and there is a light switch inside the pantry for good reason. So I always thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool if it worked like a refrigerator door? You open the door, the light comes on, and you can see everything in there and find what you need. So we're going to do that today. We're going to take this Eve light switch and this door and window sensor with Koogeek, combine them, and I'm going to show you how to set up a simple automation so that when you open the door the light comes on, and when you close the door the light turns off. So let's go ahead and get started, and let's start by unboxing this Eve light switch because we have not taken a look at this yet on this channel. So today we're going to take a look at another smart light switch, and that is the Eve light switch from Elgato. And if you watched my very first video, I featured another smart light switch, and that was the Leviton Decora smart dimmer with HomeKit. And those are what I use for the most part throughout my home. But this is actually the first smart light switch that I bought for the house. I installed it initially, or I installed one of these initially, and then I switched it out for the Decora, and I hadn't found a use for these yet until now. So I'll be using this in a kitchen pantry to light the kitchen pantry, and pair it with this Koogeek door and window sensor, which I've looked at in a previous video. So with everything HomeKit, we always look for the Works with Apple HomeKit badge, and that ensures that this device works out of the box with HomeKit, and we don't have to worry about any broken promises. Ring. But this should work great. And let's look at the side of the box, and it says it's a capacitive touch sensor. So yeah, there are no moving parts. There is one LED, a green LED, to let you know where it is and be able to locate it in the dark. And there again, there are no moving parts. So it's a touch sensor, and it's for indoor use only. And the back shows that it is Bluetooth. You can use your voice, you can set scenes, and easy setup, either in the Eve app or in HomeKit. And there's the other side and the top of the box. So let's go ahead and unbox this and see what Elgato includes with its Eve light switch. So when you take it out of the box, there is a cover that shows the Eve light switch, and on the inside it has some literature, and it has the HomeKit setup code there and the get started manual, and it shows you how to wire it and everything. So everything you need to know to install this is in here. And here's the switch itself. There's the Eve light switch, and there are the wires. And this is a little different. These actually have wires already attached to the switch itself, and it also includes the neutral wire. So yeah, be aware that you will need the white neutral wire, and this actually will make installation easier because all I need to do is take these wires and attach them to the ones already in the light switch box. Especially for that white wire, because whether, I don't know if you remember or not, but I did have a challenge with the Leviton because it didn't include a a neutral wire, and I had to purchase some so that I could extend it and attach it to the wire nut. And this includes 4 wire nuts and 2 mount screws. So yeah, that should be pretty easy. Just use the wire nuts to connect the wires. Simple install. You've seen me install a light switch before, so I'll reference to that video if you need to know, or you want to see it demonstrated. So that's all that's in the box. Pretty simple. Let's go ahead and install this Eve light switch with HomeKit. So let's go ahead and take a look at this pantry, and I wasn't kidding. Daytime, nighttime, this pantry is dark, and there's the switch that controls the light in this pantry and the lights up here on the ceiling there. See, I wasn't kidding when I said it was dark. Let's take this switch out. So I'm going to go ahead and speed through uninstalling this switch. Remember to always turn off the power to the breaker box before you start any kind of electrical projects. Here I've already done that. So I'm going to remove the old switch. I'm going to mentally keep track of which wires are which. And I've done so many of these in this house, I kind of already have a feeling of which wire goes where. So here's the Elgato Eve light switch, and as you can see, as I mentioned before, all the wires are already attached. So let's go ahead and start attaching these wires. First we'll unscrew the wire nut that has the neutral wire, and we'll twist that. Oops, looks like I got the wrong one. Let me get the neutral wire, which is the white wire, and screw that onto the wire bunch and re-add the wire nut. Make sure it's on there tight, and give it a little tug to make sure everything's secure. And pretty much the same thing with the rest of the wires. The wires weren't already bunched up, so for the rest of the wires I'll be using the wire nuts provided by Elgato. Screw those together, get the wire nut. We'll do that with the load wire. So these are all pretty simple. And finally, we'll go ahead and connect the ground wire. So the only thing left to do is to gather up all these wires and try to get them to fit inside this junction box. So we'll go ahead and push these wires in as gently as we can, though we do need to make sure they all fit inside this junction box. And one thing to note, the smart switches are quite a bit thicker than the regular ones, so sometimes you'll find yourself with limited space. Just remember to try and fit everything in there as neatly as you can, and just be aware that it can get a little bit cramped in there. So next thing left to do is to go ahead and mount the switch itself into the junction box. So I'm just going to make sure everything's aligned and even. Go ahead and tighten the screws down. And I'm going to go ahead and turn on the power and make sure the light works as it should before I put the faceplate. Turn on and off, on
off, on. Let's turn it on so I can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and install this base for the faceplate. And this faceplate was supplied by Elgato, and it's actually pretty nice because it's kind of a screwless mount or screwless faceplate. So as we finish up installation of this light switch, just to let you know, I won't be going through HomeKit setup of this light switch as I've done it before with a separate light switch. And I also won't be going through HomeKit setup of the door and window sensor. So if you want to see that and how I set up those components under HomeKit, please reference some of my previous videos. And as you can see, there's a little bit of the Eve branding on the bottom. So we'll go ahead and remove the protective covering. And now looking for a place to mount the door and window sensor, and I think I'll add it right there. So here we go. Excuse the shaky video. The door and window sensor from Koogeek is installed in the area that I indicated. And let's close the door and make sure there's no obstruction. So now let's go ahead and set up this automation. And we'll go into the Home app because that is where all the magic's going to happen. And let's go ahead and switch to Rooms. And I actually want the kitchen. And as you can see, we have the kitchen pantry light and the kitchen pantry door. So I'm going to go into automations and hit the upper right, the plus sign for new automation. And we're going to look for an accessory is controlled. We're going to click that and pick pantry door, the sensor, hit next. And we're going to say when it opens, next. And then we're going to look for the device it's to control, which is the kitchen pantry lights. We're going to select that, hit next, and make sure it's on. Then we're going to hit done. Now we're going to go back, a new automation. We're going to do the exact same thing except for when it closes. So we're going to check the kitchen pantry sensor. And choose closes, hit next. Kitchen pantry light. And it's off already, hit done. So now our automation is set up. Let's go ahead and take a look at the kitchen. And let's go ahead and open the door. And the pantry light comes on. Let's go to close the door. And the kitchen pantry light goes off. Open the door, kitchen pantry light goes on. Close the door and it goes off. So it looks like the automation is working. When we open the door, the light comes on, and we close the door, the light goes off.
So let's go ahead and take a look and see how this automation comes together. So if we open the door, the light should come on, and we close the door and the light shuts off. Open the door, light on, close the door, light off. So it works pretty well, just like your refrigerator door. Maybe not as responsive, maybe a little bit of delay, but for the most part the automation works, and you will never have another dark pantry. At least I'm glad I'll never have another dark pantry. So as you could see, setting up that automation was really easy to do under HomeKit and in the Apple Home app on iOS, and it's going to make my life a whole lot easier. You can combine any light switch that's HomeKit enabled and door and window sensor to do this. I happen to use the Elgato Eve light switch and Koogeek door and window sensor, but if you wanted to use Elgato's own door and window sensor, you could pair that with its light switch and do the same thing. So I hope you guys found this information useful. If you did, please like this video, and if you've done any simple automations like this that's made your lives easier, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear about it, and I like interacting with you guys on each video. So if you haven't yet or are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps the channel out, and it encourages me to make more videos. And if you know anyone out there who might find this information useful, please feel free to share this video. So that's going to do it for this episode and this automation. Until next time, take care and please be safe out there.